Sometimes I just do not want to be in the kitchen cooking, which is ironic because I do it for my job, but I'm definitely always looking for something quick and easy. So I asked all of you for a little inspiration, and I got 5 recipes from 5 countries to try out. This episode is especially relevant to me because, ironically enough, when I'm out of leftovers from the show and I'm done cooking all day, I'm usually too tired to cook a fully fledged meal. So quick and easy is the name of the game for me. And that is why I am super excited to tell you about Sous Vide, the sponsor of today's episode. Sous Vide is more than a kitchen gadget. It is a smart countertop oven and a meal delivery service. It has a slim and sleek design and can fit into anyone's house or apartment like mine. And there are a few things I love about it. Number 1, it only takes a few minutes to set up dinner. And 2, 3, and 4, when it comes to their meal delivery service, there is no planning, no prep, and minimal cleanup. When you use their meal delivery service, it's very simple to use. Number 1, you're gonna load up your meal, you're gonna tap your recipe card, and voila, the sous vide will start to cook. And best of all, you can choose what time you want your food to be ready. That means you can set the sous vide in the morning, it will refrigerate it until it's ready to cook in the evening. I'm starting dinner at 10:30 a.m. and it will be ready by 7 p.m. Done. Your sous vide has tons of cook modes, so when you're not using the meal delivery service, you still have tons of options on how to use the sous vide itself. There's air fry, slow cook, roast, even sous vide, which I think is super cool. And if you're like me and you don't have a microwave, the reheat option is super helpful. All of Sous Vide's meal kits come frozen and ready to cook, and I've had other meal delivery kits in the past, and the thing about them is that they come fresh, which is nice, but you're under a time constraint for when to cook them before they go bad. Since sous vide meals live in the freezer, you can keep them for as long as you need. And there are tons of options with what to eat, so it never gets boring. There are over 50 chef-created meals to choose from, and new items are added every single week. They're quick, they're easy, they're delicious. But just to note, just because they have the meal subscription service, you don't have to get that. The sous vide itself is amazing on its own. It's delicious. It does not taste like a frozen meal at all. The salmon is really well cooked. The vegetables on the bottom are super flavorful, 10 out of 10. If you want to try sous vide at home, you can use the link in my description, and that will give you 16 free meals, plus you get a 100-day risk-free trial for you to try your sous vide at home. So it's definitely worth a shot.
Hi Beryl, my name is Marolina. I'm from Hanmünden in Germany. The dish I would like to share is Flammkuchen or Tarte Flambée. Flammkuchen is a very thin dough that is topped with crème fraîche and in its most classic way topped with bacon and onions and then baked in a very hot oven, much like pizza. The possibilities to top a Flammkuchen are quite endless. You can make sweet versions. The version I am sharing today is the version we like to do most often, which is red grapes with goat cheese and bacon.
The recipe doesn't say whether to leave these whole or cut them in half, but I feel like they're just gonna roll around, so I'm gonna cut them in half. But I think it's kind of up to you, if you're gonna make this, what you wanna do with the grapes. I love a grape.
I'm not sure when I made this version for the first time, but it's been a staple in our lives for the last 10 years because it's just so quick and flavorful.
So I have a question for all of you. Do you say goat cheese or goat's cheese? I say goat's cheese. Leia says goat cheese. I feel like I've been saying goat too much and now the word has no meaning. This one says goat's milk cheese, attributing milk to the goat. And on the back it says goat cheese, so I think it could go either way. I still think goat's cheese works because it's cheese of a goat, but I don't know, what do you guys say, goats or goat?
You get the crispy dough with the creamy cheese and the crunch of the walnuts with the bacon that is salty. That's just like a cheese board, I think. And who doesn't love a good cheese board? Flammkuchen is not really a German dish, but I'd say it's rather a German-French dish.
So I'm using pizza dough. In Germany, you would use the actual dough for this dish, but obviously I can't get that here, and Marlena said that this is okay to use, so we're using pizza dough, and that's what's making it quick and easy.
You see it a lot around the region along the French border, but you can get it anywhere in Germany. It's usually available as a street food on music festivals, so you can get it in a proper restaurant or even on a Christmas market. As I usually use the pre-made dough that you can get in any supermarket here, it takes just about 5 minutes to make because you roll out the dough, you put on the cream cheese and your toppings, and then you just bake it in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. An easy meal is just as delicious as an elaborate dish. For me, key is using exciting flavor combinations. In this recipe, it would be the sweet berries combined with the salty bacon or the flavorful cheese, for example. If you love a good cheese board, you should give this recipe a try and don't be afraid to experiment with toppings. I hope you like it, Beryl. Guten Appetit.
I feel like this is one of the easiest pizzas I've ever made, or I should call it Flammkuchen because I guess it's not really a pizza, but it kind of looks like a pizza. If it quacks like a duck. Trying a middle piece. I love a middle piece. I didn't get a grape in that bite, and I'm very curious about the grapes. The grapes add this really beautiful pop of sweetness that pairs so well with the goat's cheese. The bacon is salty and the bread is nice and thin with a little bit of crisp on the bottom of it. I think I did a really good job on this. I always struggle with pizza dough to get it spread out enough. I always find it really hard to stretch pizza dough. I'm not very good at it, so I'm gonna have to Oh, I'm stretching this pretty well.
Yeah.
This time I let the pizza dough come to room temperature and it definitely helps. So if you wanna try making Flammkuchen at home, I would sorry, it's just like a funny word to say for some reason. German words are difficult. Flammkuchen. I guess it's not that difficult as long as I'm saying it right. Anyway, if you wanna get the pizza dough to spread out, get it to be room temperature. That's definitely my tip for this dish. That's a big pizza pie. That's a big Flammkuchen. Quick and easy, 100% yes, including the oven time. I would say it was about 40 minutes, but that oven time is non-cooking time. You know, I was just chilling and waiting around for it. So I would say that the active time was around 20-ish, 25 minutes. Easy. Going in for another bite. I love the goat's cheese. It's so nice. So I didn't use creme fraiche on this. I used Greek yogurt, which is a really good substitute. Sometimes the thing is, I'll buy an ingredient and I only need it for that one thing and it goes to waste. Creme fraiche is one of those things I just don't cook with it very often and I didn't want it to go to waste. Greek yogurt is a really good substitute for it. The Greek yogurt kind of melted and made this really creamy base layer for everything. Very interesting, very delicious, adds this level of complexity to the whole dish. I would say this is overall a delicious, delicious dish.
Hi everyone, my name is Martina. I'm from the Czech Republic and for the past 13 years I've been living in the capital, Prague. A quick and easy dish I would like to introduce you to today is a pineapple black bean stew, also lovingly nicknamed Beans Hawaii. It is a quick but tasty veggie stew with pineapples, black beans, red bell peppers, and some spices being the main ingredients.
I just want to say I washed the rice. We just didn't film it, but to everyone out there, don't get worried. I washed the rice.
It is essentially a pantry dish as it leans heavily on canned produce, but that doesn't mean compromising on flavors. It is sweet and savory and juicy with a little bit of kick. I cannot say that this dish has anything to do with Czech cuisine, perhaps except for the fact we love adding pineapple where it doesn't belong to. Actually, I learned about this dish from a Polish guy in Denmark, so you can say it's pretty international. And while those times are long gone, I still have the recipe on rotation. Now I made my own memories with it, preparing it for my friends, bringing it to work as my lunch and sharing it with my lovely coworkers. This dish made me realize that cooking is my love language. The dish usually takes me about 20 minutes to prepare, just in time for my rice cooker to do its job. It serves really well over a steaming bowl of rice. It's a great example of a simple, easy dish that has complex flavors. It's a proven crowd pleaser.
It's funny because this reminds me of the German toast Hawaii, which is ham, cheese, and pineapple. You know, beans, yes. Tomato, yes. Spices, yes. Pineapple. I think the level of sweetness will be good, but it's definitely an interesting addition of fruit in places you don't expect it to be. The pineapple juice is definitely interesting. Okay.
Canned black beans are hard to come by where I live, but you can swap them out for red kidney beans. And while this essentially is a vegan dish, I can imagine adding beef would work really well. I can only recommend you giving it a try. And I invite you to get creative. To me, cooking is a creative outlet. So I invite you all to get inspired by the flavors. Let the recipe be your canvas, and I wish you all dobrou chuť.
I'm honestly not sure what this is going to taste like. I think the sweet, salty combination of beans and pineapple is going to be good, but it's also very curious. Come here, beans. That's honestly fire. Wow. That is very surprising. There's a kick from the red chili powder that I put in this, so you have spicy and sweet and then savory from the beans and pepper and cumin. Have this with some rice. I gotta get another piece of pineapple in there. I wasn't sure that I was gonna like this, to be honest, and I am more than pleasantly surprised. This was definitely a quick and easy dish because everything came canned, so I didn't really have to cook anything except for the onions and peppers, which cooked along the way. The ingredients were simple and easy to come by, kind of like pantry staples almost. And I definitely got in and out of the kitchen in less than 30 minutes, and that was with filming. I think that I'm most surprised by adding the pineapple juice as well. Cooking the beans with that pineapple juice, I think added that level of sweetness into the whole dish. When I cooked it for a little bit longer, it kind of marinated everything. So each bite, even without the pineapple, has that pineapple flavor to it. It honestly, it pairs really well with black beans. I don't know why. Sometimes things just work. Leia already likes black beans and she likes pineapple. And so I think yeah, she's gonna like it. Do you wanna try it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm ready.
Awesome. I am a freak that likes pineapple on pizza, so I think I'm gonna really enjoy this.
Up your alley?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the chili's really nice. You need the chili to balance it. But yeah, if you don't think you like pineapple and savory things, just try it. It's good.
Hi Beryl, my name is Kristen and I live in Medway, Massachusetts, which is outside of Boston. I'm originally from Maryland, but I have lived all over the United States and in parts of Asia as well. The dish that I want to share today is one-pan kielbasa and pierogis.
I love a Polish kielbasa like this. This is one of my favorite sausages. To be fair, when I watch mukbangers eat them and they'll eat them whole on camera like this, I also find that to be very satisfying looking, but cutting them up, grilling them, this is hands down one of my favorite sausages. I know I already said that, I just really like this sausage a lot.
This dish is essentially sauteed onions and kielbasa, which get really crispy and brown and delicious, with steamed soft pierogis on top. So pierogis are these potato-filled dumplings, and there are different varieties of them.
I'm done with prep. That took 5.5 minutes, including my introduction about me and that sausage, which took a little while.
For this recipe, I recommend onion and cheese pierogis because the onion helps pick up the other flavors in the dish, but you can use any type. We've done it with many different types of pierogis and it works well. And then a little bit of apricot jam, which adds a really nice brightness. I love this meal. I love it all seasons, but I really love this meal in winter. And the reason is because the potato in the pierogi is so comforting and just has that kind of hearty feel, but then the saltiness of the kielbasa and the texture of the onions and then the sweetness and the brightness of the apricot, especially in winter, is just really nice and helps pull it all together and adds, like I said, some brightness to an otherwise kind of dark and cold season.
Jam is an interesting addition. This is kind of to me like the beans Hawaii of like everything kind of checks out and then you add the pineapple. Everything kind of checks out and then adding the apricot jam for me is like, huh. I think it'll taste good. I'm not concerned. I'm just stating a surprising fruit in a meal location thing, something.
I think that everyone should try this dish because it involves very few ingredients that you can probably find in your local grocery store. The ingredients are relatively affordable. It's surprising the way the flavors come together, and this feels and tastes like a dish that takes way longer than it really does, but the time and effort put into making it is minimal, and it's a very customizable dish as well. I hope you like it as much as my family enjoys it.
I'm not sure if this is the most beautiful dish I've ever plated, but it's definitely going to be one of my favorite dishes because it has all of my favorite things. Pierogis, Polish kielbasa, onions, apricot jam, maybe not my favorite thing, but I think it's gonna taste really good. You know when you take a bite of something really good and your whole body kind of relaxes and eases into the bite? I feel like if I look back at the footage, we would see my shoulders just like slump down because it was so delicious. These pierogis are potato and onion pierogis. I was thinking for a while about whether or not you could sub ravioli, and I think that like in a pinch, why not? If you wanted to try something like this, I think why not? However, the dough is gonna be different, the filling is gonna be different. Like I think you could do it, but if you could find yourself pierogis with potato in the middle, you should try them. This dish is bringing so much joy into my life right now. The dish has a really interesting savory and sweet balance because the apricot jam almost acted like a glaze on the kielbasa.
It's kind of been a running theme of this episode, like the grapes, the pineapple.
Yeah, wait, that's true. Fruit in surprising places.
Yeah.
The onions are also adding a level of sweetness because they've been cooked down. Everything is just coming together in this really delicious way where I'm still salivating. I'm actually salivating. Even though I'm eating this, my body's like, give me more. I love the jam. I think the jam is my jam. This sausage is one of my favorite kinds of sausages, so it's got that going for it as well. It tastes fancier than it is. It tastes like it was more work than it was. It tastes more expensive than it cost. It's got a lot of pros here. There have been a lot of interesting elements of fruit so far in this episode. Grapes on our Flammkuchen. We've got apricots with our sausage. We had pineapple with our beans. The world loves fruit in quick and easy ways, it would seem. I'm down with it. I have nothing to say against it because all of these have worked out really well so far for my taste buds. So bring on the fruit. 10 out of 10. This was super easy, less than 30 minutes to make. Have leftovers. I'm gonna finish this plate with Leia because it's so good and she's gonna love it. And yeah, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Hi Beryl, hi friends. My name is Mariann. I am Venezuelan American. I've been living in Minnesota in the United States for the past 10 years, but I did grow up in Venezuela and I lived there for over 15 years. The quick and easy meal that I want to share with you today are arepas. Arepas are a staple food from Colombia and Venezuela, It is a flatbread, and at its most basic, it is just pre-cooked corn flour, salt, and water. Now, I'm not Colombian, so I can't speak for how Colombians eat their arepas. I'm sure that if there are Colombians watching this video, they'll let us know all about it in the comments. But as for Venezuelans, we can eat arepas for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
So Mariann said that paprika is not necessarily traditional, but it adds a nice touch of color, so I'm gonna do it.
There is not one thing that Venezuelans love more than arepas. It is basically our entire personality. There's actually a really big rivalry between Colombia and Venezuela on who invented arepas, but we're not gonna get into it. Basically, arepas are a staple of everyday life for Venezuelans.
It keeps falling apart, and I'm not sure what the problem is because I've only made arepas once in my life, and it was a very long time ago. I'm thinking it needs a little more water because I didn't use all the water yet, but I don't know. I think I'm just gonna add a little more water so that maybe it's a little less dense and sticks together more. Oy, oy, oy.
If I had to explain what arepas taste like I mentioned, they're made out of corn flour, so they do have a little bit of a corn flavor.
All right, let's try this again.
But they are just a vessel for whatever filling you add to it.
Okay.
That's right, yeah.
There we go. We got one.
They're super delicious and they are so easy to make. From start to finish, it might take you about 15 to 20 minutes to make one, but you don't have to babysit them at all. I would actually argue that the hardest part of cooking an arepa is learning how to slice it open.
Now comes the hard part where I have to slice these in half. They're not, ooh, that's hot. They're not very thick. I'm gonna use this knife. It's thin and long, but you know, this will be my true test of how good I am. I have medium hopes for myself. Yikes, should have used a towel.
I think it might be a rite of passage for Venezuelan children to learn how to slice open their own arepas. If there's anything that Venezuelans love almost as much as we love arepas, it is butter, cheese, and ham. Personally, I don't think that a quick and easy meal is the same as a boring meal. I think that what can make a meal feel boring is if there are no complementary flavors and no interesting textures, which is where arepas really shine. Because if you prefer a softer, doughier texture, then just make a thicker arepa. I really hope that you'll give arepas a try. They are so emblematic to our region, and I think that once you try them, you'll understand why.
So I made arepas and I was able to cut through them relatively easily, which I'm very proud of myself for. I think I'm gonna try this one. You can taste that it's corn flour. It's soft on the inside, crunchy on the outside. The cheese and the ham is a really nice combination. Personally, I just love a ham and cheese sandwich, so a ham and cheese arepa, definitely up my alley. Ooh, some butter came out. Butter. I definitely had some trouble assessing the consistency of the dough because I haven't really done this before. I wonder if I should add a little more flour.
More water.
I don't know. What the heck? Okay, maybe a little more water. It was definitely too dry in the beginning, so I just kept adding a little bit of water. So if you're gonna try this at home, I would go slow with the water until you get something that's wet and doesn't really crumble when you mash it together to make the patty. Because I think I ended up with a pretty good arepa. Yeah. I just needed a napkin because the butter was dripping on me. I will say extra butter, I'm not complaining about it, but it is a little messy. I cooked these for about 7 minutes on each side, and they have a nice little crusty golden color on them, which I think is what you're looking for. You don't want them to be crusty golden all over, just like a hint, a light tan, if you will. For sure, it's an under 30-minute meal and really used a limited amount of ingredients, so I would say check box for quick and easy. And delicious.
Hi Beryl and everyone, my name is Amrutha. I'm currently residing in Chennai, but I'm originally from Kerala, India. The dish I want to talk to you about today is called Chapathi Upma, which is made by shredding leftover chapatis into small bits and tossing them in a tempering made of mustard seeds, spices and vegetables of your choice. Here my favorite vegetable to use is cabbage. The reason why I love making this dish is because it reminds me of my mom, who used to make it for us when we were kids, and we would ask her for a quick snack or even at times for dinner. I believe it is a dish that is made across India in various forms, and the chapatis can easily be replaced with shredded bread or even idlis, and the result is amazing. I believe everyone should try making this dish because it is very easy to put together with minimal ingredients, and it comes out really delightful and delicious. I hope everyone tries out, and thank you.
This dish is really interesting because it reminds me of a Sri Lankan hangover cures dish called kottu that I made way back in the day, like year 1 of the channel. So it's cool to see it back again, done differently. Break the egg, get it with some of this chapati. Chapathi is a type of Indian bread like naan or roti. This one is made out of whole wheat flour. You can buy them frozen. My Indian grocery store sells them pre-made in the refrigerated section, which is what I used. I think they're relatively easy to make, but I was not gonna make them for this episode. The cabbage is good. Having the egg on this definitely makes this more of a complete meal. Otherwise you'd just be eating like bread and cabbage, which I think is fine on its own, but the egg gives you that extra bit of protein, so it feels definitely, in my opinion, more complete. I do see how this is a great use for leftover bread. If you were to have chapati in your house from the night before, this is a great thing to do for breakfast, definitely. You know, as someone who doesn't have leftover chapatis, I still think this was a really fun meal to make. It's different, super easy, like barely any spices in it, so very accessible. I love the texture of the bread. It's soft, a little chewy still, has a little bit of crispiness from being cooked in the pan. The cabbage is crunchy but still soft. Everything is like a really nice balance of texture and flavor. It's definitely a simple dish, nothing too extreme, but there's something comforting about its simplicity. I feel like this dish took us about 15 minutes to make, and that was like, it's 2 seconds. You know, just cut up the bread, put it in the pan. I mean, you saw what I did. Put the cabbage in there. It was fast, very fast. So if you're like in a pinch, want a meal quickly, and you have some leftover bread like this, definitely, highly recommend. I hope you enjoyed this episode all about quick and easy meals to make. Let me know which one of these you might want to consider trying at home. I'd love to hear from you. All the recipes are always on my website, beryl.nyc, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps support the channel. Until next week, I'm leaving you with 2 more episodes in our culinary universe, and I will see you then.